Good afternoon, folks. My name's Sandy. This is Sawing with Sandy. Welcome back to the channel. Just a minute ago, I fired up my Takuchi TB15, my mini excavator behind me. This piece of vintage iron is probably about a mid-90s unit. I fired this up because I'm going to use this with the thumb I added on in order to lift up these logs, in order to get the firewood process started. We'll lift these logs up, we'll cut them to length, and we'll split them with the wood splitter. This here is an Eastonmade Ultra. At the end of this video, I'll put a link to some more videos dealing with that. That is the improved version of my old wood splitter. And when I say improved, I mean like leaps and bounds improvement. My old wood splitter, it got the job done, but it was slow as molasses. This thing's very efficient, as you'll see today. Very fun to use. So that'll do all the hard work. I'll load up the IBC cages with the firewood. And then at some point I'll come by with the tractor forks and I'll pile the freshly split wood somewhere out there. It'll sit there to dry over the spring, summer, and fall. Now, if you're wondering how I got the mini excavator to get the wood splitter out here, I use this. You might have seen this before, this build. I'm talking about the hitch that I attached to the blade. You might have seen that before if you've been around the channel. I'm pretty proud of that. It was sort of an idea I've had for a while and finally came to fruition. So there it is there. Now, just as we're about to get going here, there's one thing you're going to be seeing me use today that I've never used before. I've only seen online. That's this thing. This thing's called the Mingo. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the Mingo firewood marker. I've seen others use this before, and not in person, but online, and I've always been interested by it. Well, today's the day I'm finally going to get to try it. And so what this thing does is basically takes a can of spray paint and it puts marks on the logs. And you can see in the picture exactly what it's going to do. Now, the reason I like this is I can go through, I can mark the log completely. In fact, I could mark all the logs I've got laying out here completely. Then I can put it away. Then I'll come by with the Mini X. I'll pick the log up, I'll cut it at my mark, and then I'll go ahead and I'll split it. Now, this firewood marker here, I have not seen inside the box before, aside from a little peek a moment ago. And what it comes with is a series of wheels, and the wheels are going to dictate the distance between spray paint marks. And so I just pulled out the first wheel that I saw in there, and as you can see at the top, it has the number 16. So when I install this in this upright piece, as we'll do in a minute, when this thing rotates along the log, it's going to put a spray paint mark every 16 inches. Now, why might that be important? Well, for me, I have a specific size wood stove, and I can't put wood in there that's too long because then it doesn't fit. And depending on the size of your wood stove, that might not be an issue. For mine, it is an issue. If I'm going to make firewood for my maple syrup evaporator, that's also important. And so I like to have a specific size piece of firewood. I try to eyeball it, but as you guys know, if you get tired, maybe your eyeballs aren't as good as they used to be. You start to drift a little bit longer, a little bit shorter than you want. And next thing you know, your 16-inch pieces start looking like 18-inch pieces or 15, and that could be a problem. So we're going to try this out here today. I'm not quite sure what to expect. I have been interested by it, so today's the day. Let's jump in here, see what we're dealing with. I'll put you guys down just for a second here. All right, so that one has 24 inches at the top. That's the number it says. This one here, what do we got? 14 inches. 18 inches, and then the actual unit itself. And so this is approximately where I'm going to put my spray can. Obviously I have to take the cap off. Now, this spray can here is an inverted marking spray can, so you can't just use the tip that goes horizontally. You got to use the tip that surveyors and people like that, maybe construction workers, will use. It puts the spray directly downwards. Getting back to our wheels here. Now, this wheel, from what I understand, it has these three little pieces here that you can attach. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to, if you attach them, it allows you to make a mark every 6 inches as this rotates. Or if you just put 2 of these on, like you'll notice there's one here, you could put another one here. Half of 24 is 12, so you could make a 12-inch piece with this. Or you could put 1, 2, and 3, and then it'll make 6 inches all the way along. So 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches, back to the start. So okay, And as I said before, there's some numbers on the side. So 16 is the one near the bottom. So that's going to go in just like that. I believe that's it. And we'll put the can in a minute, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but as I go down the log, that little piece there will come up and it'll hit that and it'll push it to the side. Every time it pushes it to the side, it's going to put a bit of pressure on that nozzle because the spray can will be in there. So that looks pretty simple to me. Obviously we'll shake this up. That looks like it's going to drop right in there. I think we just got to make sure, yeah, we just got to make sure that the nozzle on the spray can goes right through, and I think that's it. Well, that's pretty easy. Just a little, you guys can see it there, can't you? Just some little dots, which is kind of nice. I don't want to do graffiti on my logs here. So just one thing I'll tell you guys as sort of a first attempt here. The spray can you got to watch, because this spray can, I figured you could press on any side of this nozzle and you'd get a consistent spray. Well, look at this. I'm pushing on this side and I'm not getting a consistent spray. No spray. Watch the other side. Perfect. That's what we're going for. So if you find that when you run this down, it's not coming out very well, just rotate the can a little bit. I found there's one spot in particular on this marking spray paint where, like, check that out. It's not coming out at all. Just rotate it. I just rotated it 180 degrees. That's not that great either. That's what we want. So there's some spots on here that aren't perfect on the spray can. So I just rotated it a little bit and it worked out perfect. So I'm gonna get down to work. We'll cut this up and we'll go from there. Here we go. Well, folks, I'd say that's pretty good timing. The rain is starting to set in a little bit heavier here. I just had a quick look at the radar and looks like it's coming in pretty heavy. So I'm going to pack her in there. We got just about 2 IBC totes filled up. That did not take me that long. I was using the 4-way wedge there. Sometimes when the wood starts to get really gnarly, which it was starting to, I'll switch over to the 2-way wedge. Just allows me to manipulate the split a little bit better, but that worked just as well. So overall, great day out here. Any excuse I get to run the Mini X or run the splitter or run a chainsaw for that matter, I take advantage of it. So if you guys have any questions at all, make sure you put it down below in the comments. As always, do yourself that big favor, get outside, enjoy nature, and I'll see you next time.